At the same time, we are almost to a month now since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mom of Savannah Guthrie, has been seen. It was a Saturday night in the middle of the night when the 84-year-old was taken from her bed. And ever since, there really has been very little that the police have learned, very little that they've been able to go on. Retired FBI agent Scott Duffey is here once again. We appreciate your insight. So we have a couple developments. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. The first one is, it looks like the images in the photo that we saw, they're now saying that one of them might have been taken at a second time, meaning that the kidnapper or kidnappers were at the house more than once. Are you surprised? Do you see the same thing? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Jen, I am not surprised. I will say this, not knowing enough about the technology of how they found this in the first place and then having to go probably like decode it as opposed to something that's we can see a video and you go backwards and say, "Oh, that's the picture I want," vice versa. I imagine it's a lot more tedious that for Google to go in and try to find these videos. With that being said, when the two images were presented to the viewers for the first time in public, I was surprised that there was no timestamp. And so thereby, when we saw this individual first coming with the backpack and the gun and so forth, at what point of him approaching this house was that video? Was it before just arriving? Was it some point after he had entered the house and exited to kind of do a survey? And then, of course, the secondary was I could easily see it being from the same day, but whatever has taken place inside the house, he's taken off his backpack, his weapon, and it's just kind of doing a roundabout. So I can see all those things being plausible until the tech side, those who are going to testify in a court, hopefully this makes it into a court one day to say, this is the time and the date of these images.
So, do you think originally they withheld the time and date when they released the images to protect part of their investigation? Or do you think because they had to go through corrupted files, they didn't have the time or the date, whatever it was 10 days ago?
Yeah, I don't think they're holding back. I do think that they are still trying to figure that out because that will be important. Somebody will have to testify to say that image is taken on this day at this time. That will be key for evidence. Otherwise, was the all the videos we're seeing, are they all not including the day of the kidnapping, which is very important. So I don't think that they're holding back, and I would even venture to say they're still trying to figure that out because it doesn't seem definitive that the two images are two different days, two different times, and possibly two different individuals.
So here's the next thing. It happened this morning. Savannah Guthrie went on her Instagram. You know, TMZ has received correspondence from people. We talked about this. You said it's probably bogus that they have information on the kidnapper without being the kidnapper. They were asking for money, to lead them to the kidnapper. And now Savannah Guthrie has said, you know what? We will give $1 million to anyone who can get us some information to get mom back. Interestingly, they're also going to donate $500,000 to a missing children's organization because they now know what it feels like to be in this horrible limbo. When you hear that family is saying we have $1 million for any information that leads to finding their mom, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I see this, Jen, as them putting out a bounty. When law enforcement, Crime Stoppers, whoever else is ultimately law enforcement puts out a reward, they're trying to generate leads, trying to keep this active. If you're not getting something, up the ante. That's why when the FBI puts out their 10 most wanted, they put a lot of reward money in the millions to capture them because they realize there could be an interstate aspect to this and they want good information. So here you have the Guthrie family putting a significant amount of money. And so to me, that is personal, where Savannah and her family are saying, we're starting at $1 million and we are looking for information to have our mother returned one way or another, and then ultimately to see some sort of an arrest take place out of this. And I really see that as her directly speaking to either someone who took her mother or someone who knows who took her mother, and thereby saying, we're willing to pay. And so I see that as an interesting turn of events.
And you've been a part of so many different types of investigations. I was in a news van with a camera guy when we saw the video, and someone was like, what if it's a lone wolf? Like, at this point, 25 days in, someone knows if someone's been missing for 25 days, right? Someone has an inkling that they know someone might be responsible. You could be very clean with one person, but still there are people who surround whoever is responsible for this, right?
Absolutely. And if I would be hard pressed to see that this was a lone wolf. Very possible, but I would be hard pressed to, because the fact that they removed her from the house, that takes some doing. And so it just seems like there would be at least an additional party involved in this. And if you have additional people, you have a conspiracy, there is going to be a weak link. And then ultimately, no matter what, criminals do talk. They do provide information to who they think are their confidants or inner circle. And ultimately, at some point, somebody decides, I can't hold this information. I need to tell it, even if it's something that's totally made up, but I'm going to go with my gut.
All right. Thank you so much. We really do enjoy checking in with you, because we watch what happens. Everyone in this room has questions. Everyone in America right now has questions. We're all talking about it, but you give us such a professional and credible lens, and we can see things from your point of view. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Okay. Again, that's retired FBI agent Scott Duffey. And again, he looks at it from law enforcement, and it's a lens that candidly no one in this room has.